Hey guys, Jennifer here and welcome to Subscriber Lunch Sunday. This week I picked lunch ideas from all of the places: Instagram, YouTube comments, email submissions, and from our Facebook group. Now if you want to submit your lunch idea for a future subscriber lunch video, I'll go ahead and leave the links to everything in the description box below. Now make sure you hit that red subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get started. Our first lunch idea is from a sweet subscriber named Jordan, who we actually got to meet while we were at Disneyland last week. It was so fun to meet Jordan, and she works in my most favorite restaurant in the whole park. I think that would be such a fun place to work. Now, usually when I make these lunches, I like to start with the main course first, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do for Jordan's lunch. For her lunch today, Jordan requested a sandwich, which is very much like something that you might find at the restaurant she works at Disneyland. Instead of using regular bread for this sandwich, I'm gonna use a mini ciabatta roll. So I'm just gonna very carefully cut that in half, and now it's time for some flavor. On one side of the bread, I'm going to squirt a little bit of mayo, and on the other side, I'm going to put some avocado spread. So essentially, we're making avocado mayo, which sounds so tasty. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you like to add avocados to your sandwiches. The avocado that I'm using also has a little bit of garlic, onion, and seasonings. Next, I'm going to add 2 slices of warm grilled chicken. And on top of that, I'm going to add the cheese. For Jordan's sandwich, she requested provolone cheese. Now, if you've never had provolone cheese before, you should definitely give it a try. I think it's kind of like mozzarella cheese and Havarti cheese, but it's definitely a little bit more sharp. It goes really well in sandwiches, especially when they include avocado and chicken. Now this is looking really good. Now to make this sandwich a little bit easier to eat, I am gonna go ahead and cut it on the diagonal. Look at all those nice layers in there. You know, you could definitely add a few slices of bacon in here as well, and that would put it over the top. Now to keep our sandwich together, I definitely don't want it to fall apart, I'm going to add some food pics. These are just cute, happy little hearts. And now that our main course is ready to go, it's time to move on to some fruit and veggies. For Jordan's lunch today, she chose apple slices and celery. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a teeny tiny Disney sticker on that apple. Let me know in the comments down below if you could tell what character was on that sticker. So now I went ahead and placed the celery and the apples together in this side of the lunchbox, just like that. But then to go along with both of them, I'm also going to be adding this little container of natural peanut butter. I know Jordan is a big fan of dipping both celery and apples in her peanut butter. I know my kids love to do that, and I think it's really tasty too. So this little peanut butter pod is going to fit perfectly right in this section of the lunchbox. Now for her snack today, Jordan requested strawberry yogurt. And I decided for her, I would go ahead and get the fancy French style yogurt. Now, if you've never tried this, it's really good. It's very creamy and it's not overly sweet. And I love that it comes in these cute little glass jars that you can recycle and reuse in lots of different ways. Now that brings us to Jordan's special treat, which is not necessarily fancy, but definitely delicious. Jordan requested Muddy Buddies. This is also known as puppy chow, and if you've never heard of either one, it's basically rice cereal that has chocolate, peanut butter, and powdered sugar coated on the outside. Now usually I make this from scratch, it's super easy to make, but of course the pre-bag stuff is pretty good too. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a separate silicone liner into the lunchbox and fill it up with plenty of Muddy Buddies. And then last but certainly not least, for her drink today, something extra chocolatey, some Nesquik chocolate milk. And there you have it, there's Jordan's special lunch for today.
Hi guys, it's Willie, and I tested this lunch. My favorite part was the chocolate milk and the Muddy Buddies. And the sandwich is pretty good too, but I definitely need to share since it was pretty big.
This next lunch idea was sent in by Abdul. He is 10 years old and is from Pakistan. For Abdullahs Lunch, I'm gonna start by filling up the thermos section of this lunchbox with some piping hot mashed potatoes. And he requested to go with the mashed potatoes some peas. So I thought instead of adding just regular old peas that we could give these ones a try. These are the Bachelor's mushy peas. Apparently they're pretty famous in Ireland. I'm not sure if my kids will like them, but we're gonna give them a try. Now to go along with this, I'm also gonna be adding a grilled chicken skewer. Now I did go ahead and sprinkle lots of different spices and seasonings on here, so it's really flavorful, but it's not spicy. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed spicy food. Next up, I'm going to be adding lots of fruit to Abdullahs Lunch, and he actually requested 3 different things. For his lunch, I'm adding a combination of watermelon, mango, and strawberry. And because I want these to fit nicely in the lunchbox, I'm going to go ahead and chop them into bite-sized pieces. So now I went ahead and filled up this entire back section with this lovely fruit. I have to say these mangoes are super ripe and delicious. All of my kids love mangoes, so they'll be happy to see this. Now so far so good on Abdullahs Lunch, but I just have a few more things to add. In this separate container, first I'm going to add a handful or 2 of Chex Mix. Now you can actually find Chex Mix in lots of different flavors, but we really like the cheese flavored kind. In here there's crackers, pretzels, there's cereal pieces, and of course lots of cheese. And then in this other section of my container, I have just enough space for a very special treat. For Abdullahs Lunch, he requested a s'more. So I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of a s'mores hack. It's basically a way to make a s'more without the traditional ingredients. The first thing I'm going to be using are 2 of these fudge stripe cookies. Now these classic cookies have been around for a long time, but it wasn't until recently that I heard about them being used for s'mores. You know, it already has the cookie and the chocolate on there, so really all you have to do is add a marshmallow and you have a s'more. Now this is the type of s'more you could actually take to school, that is. You definitely can't be roasting marshmallows at school, but this is gonna taste pretty similar to a regular s'more. Oh yes, and I did go ahead and use these special s'more marshmallows for this. They're a little bit bigger and they're a little bit flatter, so they fit perfectly with your cookie or your graham cracker. And then finally, for Abdullahs Lunch today, he requested a Capri Sun, and I just went with the classic fruit punch flavor. I'm not sure, but I think that's probably their #1 seller, the fruit punch. And I always like to stick mine in the freezer so they get nice and cold, and then when you drink them, they're still a little bit icy. That's the best, especially on a hot summer day.
Hi guys, it's Jackson. This lunch was really good. My favorite part of this lunch was the juice, the mashed potatoes, and the s'more. I like all kinds of s'mores, but I like them better when they're toasted.
Do you like your marshmallow a little bit toasted or really toasted?
I like really toasted.
You like to catch it on fire? Our next lunch idea was sent in by Stacy. She is 18 years old and is from Canada. For her lunch today, I'm going to go ahead and start by removing the thermos from our lunchbox. That way we'll have more space for this delicious lunch, which could be served hot or cold. For Staceys Lunch, I'm going to be making a delicious quesadilla, and this is going to be the perfect time to test out my new skillet. And so of course the tortilla is going to go in first. Then I'm going to sprinkle lots of this Mexican style shredded cheese. In here we have a combination of Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso quesadilla, and asadero cheese. This combination makes really good quesadillas. Now of course this would be good as is, but I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shredded chicken directly on top of the cheese, and now we're left with a chicken quesadilla. So now I'm just going to cook this until the cheese is completely melted and the outside of the tortilla is golden brown and crispy. Now to make this fit better in the lunchbox, I did go ahead and cut up the quesadilla into 3 little triangles, and I've placed a little container of salsa and sour cream to dip the quesadillas in. Next up, I'm going to prepare Stacy's vegetables. Now she requested 2 different kinds for her lunch today. So I'm gonna start by slicing up some celery, and to go along with that, I'm also slicing up some cucumber. Now this part is totally optional, but I did go ahead and take off about half of the cucumber peel. This helps to make them look a little bit fancier. And then for the fruit, Stacy requested a peach. So I have this beautiful ripe peach. I'm just going to cut it into chunks. Next, I'm gonna add a little container of ranch. This is gonna go perfectly with the celery and the cucumbers, but we're still missing a few things. For her snack today, Stacy requested zesty Doritos. But unfortunately, I couldn't find any zesty ones at my store. All they had was regular nacho or Cool Ranch. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the nacho cheese. And then check out this sweet treat, you guys. Stacy requested cheesecake. But the grocery store I was at didn't have any pre-made cheesecakes. But they did have this Philadelphia cheesecake snack pack. Now, I've never actually tried this before, but it looks really good. On one side, there's a cheesecake filling, and on the other side, there's a strawberry topping. And then lastly, for her drink today, Stacy requested watermelon juice. Now, if you've never tried this, it tastes exactly like watermelon juice, just like you might think it tastes. But what you might be surprised about is that watermelon juice is actually really good for you. So the bottle says it has a lot of electrolytes in there, and it's very hydrating.
Hi guys, Kenzie here. So I taste tested this lunch. The quesadillas were really good, and the cheesecake stuff, actually, the strawberry stuff kind of tasted like jam to me. I give this lunch 2 thumbs up.
Up next, I have a lunch idea sent in by Allison. She is 10 years old and is from Tennessee. Now for Allison's main course, she requested mac and cheese. And you guys, believe it or not, but I actually have lots of different kinds of mac and cheese to choose from. Different brands, different shapes, lots of different kinds to choose from. But Allison specifically requested extra cheesy mac and cheese. So for her, I'm gonna go ahead and make this Kraft Macaroni and Cheese Deluxe with 4 cheeses. I'm gonna guess out of all of these different kinds of mac and cheeses that this one will be the cheesiest. And of course, with this style of mac and cheese, all you have to do is cook the noodles, drain them, and then add the pre-made cheese sauce. It's pretty easy. Now I'm gonna mix that all together, get it into my thermos, and top it with a little more cheese. This is definitely extra cheesy mac and cheese. Now moving on to some fruits and veggies. For Alisons Lunch, she requested strawberries. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the tops off of these and then slice them in half. And to go along with the strawberries, I'm also gonna be adding some baby carrots. In this separate little container, I'm also gonna add some ranch for dipping. This is the yogurt-based ranch that we really like. In this back section, I'm going to add Allison's snack. She chose puffy Cheetos. Now, I'm no Cheetos expert, but I'd say that the puffy Cheetos are better than the crunchy Cheetos. But that's just my opinion. For the special treat, Allison requested brownies, but instead of adding just regular brownies, I thought it would be really fun to add a little package of this brownie brittle. They're extremely chocolatey, and they really do taste like brownies, but they're smaller and crispier like a cookie. And then the last thing I'm gonna add is her drink. She requested pink lemonade, so I'm gonna add one of the Honest Kids juice pouches. And this is the very, very good lemonade flavor.
Hi guys, it's Griffin. I love mac and cheese. I love brownies. It's yummy.
Okay guys, now don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.